I think this is a harmful thing because people are just like, oh, like, just like cowboy up, buddy, and just get on and ride the buck out. Like, that's called flooding. Flooding is abuse. Look it up. Hey guys, welcome back. I am very happy to have you here because today we're going to be talking about a topic that sometimes can get my blood boiling a little bit. So I had somebody send me an email asking me to make a video on how to and how not to break a horse in. So like how to start a horse under saddle. And now I'm not going to make a detailed tutorial because I am not a professional horse trainer. So I'm not going to give you a step by step. I have a good understanding of how I believe it should be done and a very firm belief on how it should not be done. And so this person sent me a YouTube short, and this is basically the reason why they want me to talk about this. So let's watch the video first and then go off of that. Okay, so I've actually seen this video before, or at least I've seen the clip of the guy on the horse because it went around on TikTok and I was just like, oh my god, I can't even handle this, scrolling away. This is not how you do it, okay? Now, when you start a horse under saddle, it's completely normal to get a few rears or bucks here and there because, you know, it's a new thing. The horse is trying to figure out what's going on. Like, that's fairly normal. But if your horse is rearing this much, when you start them under saddle, like when you get on the first time, you did not do the groundwork and you did not put in the work or the training needed before you got to that step. Your horse should not be doing this when you're getting on them for the first time. Like, now I will say it's very impressive that he managed to stay on. I definitely would not have, but yeah, no, you did not put in the work needed, okay? I've seen people who train horses, start horses under saddle, the first time they get on, the horse has a little bit of a and then they're usually fine. Or maybe they do a little rear or a little buck and then they're fine because the person put in the work. You know, you don't just get a saddle on them and then get on. That's not how you do it, okay? You have to get them used to being touched all over their body. You want to get them used to you having, you know, a saddle pad or a saddle blanket on their back, having it put on, taken off, having it rubbed all up and down their back, their butt, their side, being able to do it from both sides. And then you would maybe put a saddle on and get them used to having the saddle on. And then you would get them used to standing at the mounting block. And then you would get them used to you standing at the mounting block with, you know, them lined up, and you would rub your arms up and down them, and you would start getting them used to having a little bit of weight on, you know, leaning on them, and then having your stomach on top of them and your legs and your arms hanging down before you actually get to sitting on them and then asking them to ride. And also keep in mind that just because your horse now knows how to have a saddle and a rider on doesn't mean they know how to be ridden, okay? Because I've seen videos, and I started watching Yellowstone, and I watched some clips of them starting horses that made me very angry. And like, I know that these horses have actually been started and all of that, but I was like, this is not how you do it. And I even saw a clip where they made a comment about how, yeah, just get on and ride the buck out. That's how it should be done. No, it's not. It's not. Nope. Think again. Think again, Mr. Dutton. Think again. Because I would see clips of people who, like, they get on the horse and the horse is like, okay, yeah, it's fine. You can be here. This is chill. This is fine. And then they go and they kick them, and then the horse freaks out. And they're like, oh, why is he freaking out? Because you just kicked him. Because number one, if you just went up to a person and you kicked them, they're probably going to freak out because they're like, what the hell? Why'd you kick me? Because out of nowhere. Also because that's not the first level of pressure you do. You know, squeeze before you kick. The kick is backing up the squeeze if they don't listen to the squeeze, because, you know, level of pressure, which is apparently a foreign concept to some people in the horse training industry. But also, just because you've sat on them doesn't mean that they automatically know how to ride. Okay, when you're teaching a horse, you know, leg cues and rein cues, you want to teach them from the ground before you teach them from being on their back, because it's pretty consistent in general with horses that if you can't do it from the ground, you're not going to be able to do it from their back. And if you have a problem on the ground, you're going to have that problem on their back. So if your horse doesn't know how to move off of pressure when you push on them from the side, when you're standing on the ground, they're not going to understand it once you get in the saddle if they've never been taught how to do it. If you have a horse that has a bolting problem when you're walking them in hand, they're going to have a bolting problem when you get on their back. Okay, you want to solve those problems from the ground where it's safer before you get to that next step. Because also just like having another living thing on your back when you're not used to it is a very weird concept, okay? Like just because we've bred these horses to be ridden doesn't mean they inherently understand that that is normal and that is expected of them. You want to be teaching them all of the cues from the legs, how to move their body off of pressure from the ground. You want to teach them flexion, how to give to rein pressure from the ground before you get on, because then once you've built up those skills, they know the flexion, like they know to move off of pressure, they know the porcupine, and then once they're used to having the saddle on and you leaning on them and you just kind of resting yourself on them and them having weight there, then when you go to sit on them, and if they have a little bit of a freak out, they understand the cues that you might use to try to calm them down. For example, if you need to do your emergency stop when you're riding, right? You do, like, you crank the nose, like full 360 tight turn. That works because your horse knows those cues. A horse that's never been sat on before, that has not been taught them from the ground, is not going to know them. This horse probably has no idea what rein or leg means whatsoever, has zero concept, I can almost guarantee. If he did, if the horse, or she, I didn't actually pay close enough attention if it was a boy or a girl, but if the horse did, then they probably wouldn't have had to deal with quite as much of a freak out because they would have been able to work the horse through it, calm them down a little bit, which is why it's so important to have those skills put in first before you get into the riding. If your horse freaks out that much when you get on them for the first time, they weren't ready for you to get on them. There's so much work you can do getting them confident with having weight on their back, having tack on their back, that your horse should not be freaking out that much when you get on them for the first time. I think this is a harmful thing because people are just like, oh, like, just like cowboy up, buddy, and just get on and ride the buck out. Like, that's called flooding, okay? Just riding the buck out until they don't want, like, that is why videos like this and cowboys like this is why it's called breaking a horse or saddle broke or breaking a horse in, because it comes back from the original idea of breaking their spirit that even some old school cowboys still have today. You don't need to break their spirit to ride them. You don't. That's called flooding. Flooding is abuse. Look it up. Oh my God. Your horse should not be scared when you're teaching them how to be ridden, because then they're always going to be scared when you ride them. And you could go, oh, well then after this whole thing, he never bucked again, he never reared again. Because you sent it into a state of learned helplessness, buddy. You flooded it, you overwhelmed it, and it internalized and it shut down. There's not much else to it. Yeah, that is my thoughts on that. I feel like I'm just rambling in circles at this point. It was a 16-second video. There's not much else to say. If you enjoyed today's video, let me know by leaving a like or a comment. If you have opinions, thoughts on this video and this kind of ideology when it comes to starting horses under saddle, let me know what your thoughts are on this down in the comments. If you liked this video or like videos like this, then maybe consider subscribing, because I post at least one new video every week. I'm trying to post a little bit more often, but we'll see. I'm also in school, so it's hard. It's school, animals, YouTube, there's a lot going on. If you have a video you would like me to react to, you can send it to this email. This email will also be in the description, and it will be in my bio over at my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on TikTok and on Instagram. TikTok is Cats Creatures and Instagram is CatWeaver8. You can follow my adorable dog Padfoot on Instagram at Padfoot_the_poodle. And you can actually also send me reaction videos on Instagram or TikTok if you want to. If you're on TikTok scrolling and you see a video you want me to react to, you can send it to me that way. I check my message requests fairly often for that kind of thing. I've had a couple videos sent to me that way, so you can do that as well if you would like to. I think that is it. That is all the little things. I'm a little bit rambly today. I'm not very concise. Sorry about that. And if I'm looking off to the side a little bit in this video a lot, it's because I have to do this crazy little contraption to be able to tell if I'm centered in the video, because I use a phone. I don't have a camera with a viewfinder, so I have to have like a mirror up to see if I'm there. So sometimes I catch myself and I'm like glaring off to the side. Sorry about that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. And when you see stuff like this, just please think critically.